Welcome to the AFC North Roundtable, a weekly live show featuring top-tier insight and analysis on all things AFC North from the best creators in the division, including Baltimore Ravens creator Sam, Pittsburgh Steelers creator Mark, Cleveland Browns creator Chef Zay, and Cincinnati Bengals creator Zim. Catch the AFC North Roundtable every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the AFC North Roundtable YouTube channel. What is up, AFC North football fans, and welcome into another edition of the AFC North Roundtable. Week 14 is in the books, a wild Week 14 at that in the division. Only one victor emerges out of the AFC North, and it was Mark's Pittsburgh Steelers getting it done over Sam's Baltimore Ravens. We'll break that game down. We'll break down the thriller in Orchard Park in a snow globe between Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. We'll also talk about the prolific Shedeur Sanders performance that came up just 2 points shy against the Tennessee Titans. All that and more coming your way on the AFC North Roundtable. On the back half of the episode, we dive into Week 15, giving you our previews and predictions as to what's to come this upcoming week. But for now, let's bring in the fellas. Zim, Mark, Sam, and Zay, who left his watch at home. He went to go grab it. He'll be back in a little bit to join us to talk about what we saw from the Cleveland Browns. Let's talk about what we saw from the other teams in this division while we wait on Zay. Let's talk about that epic showdown between two bitter rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, the battle for first place in the AFC North. A controversial call away, Sam, from perhaps being the victor in this one, but it did not go your Baltimore Ravens way. 27 Pittsburgh, 22 Baltimore. Aaron Rodgers, perhaps his best game as a Steeler, 23 of 34, 284, and a touchdown. A far cry from what they had did the week prior. DK Metcalf, 7 receptions, a $148. Lamar Jackson in this one continues to struggle. 19 of 35, 219, an interception to go along with 1 touchdown. Zay Flowers was good. Derrick Henry got his touches, far more than the week prior as well. Wasn't enough to get it done. Zim, I know we had our game going, but I'm sure you had this one on in the corner. What did you make of the outcome here, Pittsburgh getting it done over Baltimore on Sunday?
You hit that right on the head with the Aaron Rodgers one. I mean, my memory is escaping me. I think he's had some games that I thought he looked pretty good early in the season, but he hadn't looked like that in a long time. I thought he looked a lot better right there, and I just think that the Ravens defensive line is the catalyst to all of this. Like, that's where I start at with them. To me, it's that defensive line. It allows a lot of teams to get off a lot. I also want to say too, I thought Lamar looked like Lamar running wise. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that they'll tell me differently in the comments or whatever. I thought he was running his ass off. He was running. He looked fast. So I'm not buying that. Outside of that, though, I mean, like, good win for the Steelers. Clearly, the Steelers wanted it more from the beginning of the game to the end. I just thought that they wanted it more. It's just a lot of things with the Ravens that, to me, I think in the past they've hit it with all these all pros, and when the all pros aren't all proing, it just doesn't look the same. And credit to the Steelers for bringing the belt out. And I thought that, Ravens didn't have some stuff go their way, but I thought that they were never in control, and they got out. They put themselves in a bad hole. And DK Metcalf had his way, and it's just hard to get out of that hole when you're not. That team is not built to come from behind. It's never been like that, and they very rarely were. They have to play from behind. So I just think that shows a lot more than, every week that goes on when teams start to get out on them. And it's not that they can't throw. And it's not like people get those conversations mixed up on the internet. And they're like, what you trying to say? Lamar can't throw? No, I'm not saying that. But when the threat of the run isn't as potent, it's just different. And when you're forced to throw in certain situations, it's very different. And I thought that showed a lot. And that's all I got. Good Steeler win.
Wasn't good for the Ravens against your Bengals the last time out, Zim, just a week ago. They'll look to get back on track against your Bengals again this upcoming weekend. We'll talk about that in just a bit, but we turn to Mark here. Big W here, Mark, right? A bad second half against Buffalo. The Tomlin criticism was out more than ever. This felt like a game they had to have to right the ship, because you get back at top of the division, you can kind of right the wrongs regardless here, because no matter the records here, somebody's got to win it, and it more than likely is going to be one of these two teams. This win, absolutely massive for Pittsburgh. What did you make of Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, and this Steelers team being able to pull out a huge W over Baltimore?
That was all awesome. However, I just want to start with fire who. Can the Mike Tomlin fire crowd shut the fuck up? Like I'm legit over this. I'm just so done. Leave until the end of the season. This is how the Steelers play. We play our cards close to our chest. All you hear is a fire Tomlin crowd want to get rid of one of the best coaches for the organization in 19 years. And then he comes out, beats Baltimore in their house, and they're still whinging and complaining. Just finally shut up. Like, they just got to leave it for the end of the season. But overall, this was a big game. Very physical. We had 4 players go out with injury. We had Washington with concussion. We had Harrison with concussion and Andres Pete concussion or something like that. There was another player who went out too. When I was watching it, man, this game was tough. It was like hitting each other really hard, and there was big plays. Of course, there was the controversial likely touchdown. It likely should have been a touchdown, to be honest. Like, this whole third step, I don't understand the rule, but it is the rule how it is. And I'm probably Sam will talk more about that. But this was definitely a game the Steelers had to have. And Rodgers played his best game. DK Metcalf played a very good game. Brendan Eccles got a sack. There was James Pierre, had maybe the first pick in NFL history where a cousin or a relative, because Lamar Jackson and him, if you guys didn't know, Lamar Jackson and James Pierre are cousins. So he threw a pick to Pierre. So we had to have this one. We definitely had to have it. But yeah, big respect to the Ravens, because they turned up in this game. Just a few things that didn't go their way that went our way, and it easily could have been 29-27. But my honest to goodness, this is how the Steel fans are. And I spoke to you blokes about this last week. They can't celebrate a win, leading the AFC North. They still want to fire Tomlin, which makes no sense. There is now a clause out there that they came out and said, or Adam should have said, that in 2026 they're going to rethink about his contract and extension and see where we go from there. He's here to the end of the year. He's here to possibly 2026 and maybe 2027. And we're winning games right now. And yes, we need to go on a 4-0 run to have a chance. We need to go strong to the playoffs. But they're winning the division. And I'm just overall sick of the fire Tomlin noise, because, and you know what too? People come out and I'm a fire Tomlin apologist. Don't care. Like, it's just he's winning football games. Ride the roller coaster up and down. This game was pretty crazy to watch. Steelers versus Ravens. Like, they always come down to 3 or 4 points. DK Metcalf, he showed up. There was our offensive line is doing pretty good too. Troy fired a ton of those boys. One of the other guys filled in for Pete, who went out. He's back up. Dylan Cooks never played for the Steelers, like a snap. He's been there 2 years. He did okay too. So Steelers definitely needed this win to lead the AFC North while they can.
Huge win for the Steelers, Sam. Huge loss for your Ravens. They were winners of 5 straight. Now back-to-back losses within the division. We talked about the likely should have been touchdown. I mean, I thought if you had 2 feet in going to make another move, that's all it took. Apparently not. Ravens couldn't overcome it, couldn't score on that drive, wind up losing the football game. That's just one moment here, though. The Ravens couldn't take advantage throughout the football game, also allowed Aaron Rodgers to have one of his better days as a Steeler. So your main takeaway here from now Baltimore's second consecutive loss within the division.
The Steelers definitely wanted it more. I think that's you can look at the game and see that they were definitely more fired up, and that's Mike Tomlin. Not Mike Tomlin getting that team ready. Aaron Rodgers looked like he was 5 years younger out there against the Ravens defense. I think the game plan for the Ravens going in were to get heavier. If you looked at the defensive line, they had like 3 nose tackles in for the game at one time. Brett Irwin was in playing edge rusher because they were really wanting to stop the run. And when they did, they didn't think that Aaron Rodgers would have the vertical passing attack to really threaten the defense. Well, the defense was certainly wrong with that, because 5 of their plays accounted for 67% of their offensive production in that contest, and that's because Aaron Rodgers was able to connect with Austin and DK Metcalf down the sideline on not just Marlon Humphrey, but on Nate Wiggins, on Chidobe Awuzie. So it wasn't just one corner that was struggling with, just Aaron Rodgers having a really good day throwing the football. So shout outs to the Steelers for that. They did the job. They got the job done. As far as the catch, Isaiah Likely, that catch is probably maybe should have been a touchdown. By the extension of the rule, maybe you can make a case where it wasn't a touchdown. That was probably my third most egregious call on the day for me. I think the number one call was the Aaron Rodgers catch that wasn't a catch. If he didn't come down, he didn't maintain possession. He wasn't a receiver. He wasn't a quarterback there. He was a receiver. So he needs to survive the catch, and he didn't. That should have been a turnover. The field goal that Travis Jones had that, didn't block it, but I think they called a personal foul on that cost the Ravens 3 points and gave them 4 points. It would have made it a field goal attempt instead of having to score a touchdown at the end of the game. So those two calls, I think, were a little more egregious than the Isaiah Likely touchdown. But all in all, it just showed that the Ravens, they shouldn't have even been in this situation. It shouldn't be left in the hands of the refs. I understand it's a division matchup against a foe, a hated rival. So I get that. But at the end of the day, the Ravens still did not look good on offense. That interception by Lamar Jackson was terrible. I agree with Zim when he says that Lamar Jackson looked better running the football. I think he looked getting more comfortable as the runner. In fact, this injury report that came out, he just had a rest day. They didn't say it was his toe or his knee or his ankle or anything like that. So I think that Lamar's getting better as far as health is concerned, but his mechanics, his ability to decipher the defense, as I talked about last week, still under question for me. He was poor on the day, completion percentage under 50% or maybe a little bit over 50%, but that's not going to cut it against these top-tier teams the Ravens had to face. They had to face the Bengals, who put up 30 on them last week. And they had to face off against the Patriots, who are the number one team in the AFC, and they had to face off the Packers the week afterwards, who look like they're fighting for the one seed as well. So this offense is going to be the determining factor. They need to get it under control. If not, it doesn't matter who they face, doesn't matter how many calls go against them. They're not going to win anything.
You mentioned it. Lamar Jackson misses practice yet again today. That's 5 consecutive weeks in which he's missed a practice. What's going on there? I mean, he's played in these games. I get you're taking a health day, but they're still in the thick of this race here. And this is 5 weeks now. He's taking a day off at least for practice. I mean, what are you making of this?
I think it's a terrible mistake. I understand the notion. The Ravens aren't going to win games without Lamar Jackson. They want to keep him as healthy as possible. But he's performing very terrible. I won't say very terrible, but he's performing less than what we've seen from a mechanical standpoint as throwing the football, understanding where the receiver is supposed to be, understanding what the defense is doing. So those things are what's keeping Lamar Jackson even more so than his ability to run the football. Now, his ability to run the football, yes, that is going to be a part of it because they're running a lot of read option against the Steelers, but in previous weeks, they were struggling to run the read option. They weren't really misdirecting the defense. So hopefully that gets better. But overall, Lamar Jackson, I still think he needs to get the reps in, get time with the offense and figure it out from that standpoint. But I think they're just trying to keep him as healthy as possible until the end of the season, and that's why they're doing it.
Sorry, Zebo, could I just say one thing? That Rodgers catch, I got to tell you, we got very lucky.
Yeah,
like that. Then what's crazy about the NFL? Like you look into some stuff, go down the rabbit holes, you go too far, you almost want to not be a fan of your team because it's just is this stuff made up or whatever? That's what I'm saying. But that catch was holy French toast. How can you have possession for 1 second, right? And then you go to the end zone, you need 6 feet down. It doesn't make sense, does it?
It does.
That looks like a football play where Rodgers, he caught it. Then the other guy had dual possession, went to the ground with it. It should have been Ravens' ball. So there were 3 bad calls in this game. The long snapper one too, where he touched him slightly.
Yeah,
so the Steelers versus Raven game shouldn't come down to that. There were mistakes either side. We didn't score points in the fourth quarter and stuff like that, but played better defense. But yeah, we complain about the refs all the time, but those are the ones that make you want to punch it. Punches in the gut because you're like, how can that not be a turnover? And Rodgers gets a -9. At the same time, the other bloke needs 1-2 feet down and a football move to score a touchdown. So I'm just saying, it's not I'm not. We were Steel fans were we got away with that one.
Well, fresh off his shift from Santa's workshop, Chef Zay joining us just in time to give us his thoughts on Pittsburgh beating Baltimore to take a hold of the division on Sunday. Chef Zay got Zay, Zim, Zeba. Geez, have you seen more Z's in one room in your life? Zay, welcome in. Talk to me about what we saw at Pittsburgh-Baltimore on Sunday.
I don't really have much for you on this game. I was too busy worried about, going back and forth with the Shador haters. But Sam, I did want to ask you because I came in right when you just got done finished talking. Do you think there's a little bit of intention? I've realized some of the diehardest of the diehardest Ravens fans are really starting to be ready to move on from Harbaugh. And I asked you this a few weeks ago where I wonder would Lamar or Harbaugh essentially, right? Do you think Lamar kind of has this thing where he's just like, I'm done with John Harbaugh, and it's like at this point I can have a mulligan season? He just looks like every time I watch him, it doesn't look like he has any motor behind what he's doing. He's look like he's just going through the motions, and that's a recipe for 6-7 and potentially missing the playoffs. So I'm wondering, do you think that there's some alternate motive behind what Lamar Jackson's play is like? Because it just doesn't seem like the two-time MVP that we've been watching over the past couple years.
He's not doing himself any favors by playing like this, I don't think. So do I think there's any intention behind this poor play that I'm going to play bad so that Harbaugh gets fired? No. Do I think there may be some discontent behind the scenes between Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh? Certainly there's a possibility. There's been rumors that we heard about where Lamar Jackson and other players have said, hey, we don't really think Harbaugh's the guy. I'm paraphrasing here. But the point is, I think that Lamar would be better served if he got right, played well. But I understand the mindset he's having right now. I agree with you. He does look like he's lackadaisical out there. He doesn't seem like his body language tells the story. Lamar's not really good at hiding his emotions. When he's out there on the field, he's throwing his helmet out there. He's shrugging his shoulders. He doesn't look like he's still in it. So that part is true. I'm not sure if his play is just like, forget it. We want John Harbaugh out of here. But I would not be surprised if there is some discontent between the coaching staff and the players, not just Lamar Jackson, the players as well. I've heard from other players, previous players. I heard Terrell Suggs got on the podcast recently and talked about how the players out there are acting like, they're acting like teachers out there. He talked about the coaches as well. So it's just there's a whole bunch of dynamics going on within the locker room, within the coaching staff and the Ravens players, which isn't the first time it's happened. It happened again 13 years ago, and the Ravens wound up winning the championship that year. So
I had a question for Mark. I wanted to ask, with watching Rodgers play like how he played, has that, forget all that Tomlin stuff, the expectations of the team, like what are you thinking now? Like, what's the end game? Is it still like, are you thinking it's a realistic playoff run if you get to the playoffs, or like where are you at?
To be realistic, I think the Steelers have to go on a 4-win streak. They need to win 4 in a row, or at least 3 and 4. They can't keep playing this back and forth. We win, lose one, win one, lose one, sneaking to the playoffs. And then even if they do get a home field advantage, I don't think they'll be as ready to fight whoever they're going to be, Chargers, Texans, whoever it is. They're going to come in. Texans come to our house. Like, no offense, Steelers fans, they're going to shellac us. Like, they are a really good defense. So for anything to have any faith and hope, you have to turn it around now and go on a run for 4 games in a row, build momentum, have the home field advantage. Then whoever comes in, then I think it's a 50-50 game. But I don't think they're going to bottom out and go 0-4 because they got the Miami Dolphins, got a tough game versus the Browns in their house too. Ravens, depending how their season ends up near the end, and also Detroit's like 50-50.
Week 18.
That's the one that's killing me. Is I think so. I'm a Bengals fan. I need
No.
What?
Shocker. I need you guys to lose 3 out of 4. And from the outside looking in, it looks like it could happen to me. But that Ravens last one, them emotional throwing the helmet ass dudes over there, I just think that they're going to pack it up by that time, bro.
I think the key here is going to be Aaron Rodgers, dog. He threw for 284 yards, man. If Aaron Rodgers gets a rhythm going into the postseason, that is a recipe for success with Mike Tomlin, and that's something that the Steelers haven't had since Ben Roethlisberger.
What's kind of funny too is they benched Roman Wilson and they brought up MVS, they brought up Adam Thielen. So I don't know if they're going to more of a passing attack, and we've been told that we're shown that the run game is more consistent. Run the ball like 12 times, and it's more like maybe now the Aaron Rodgers show. But yeah, for the Bengals to get in, you need us to absolutely crash the fuck out on Monday Night Football and then give up for the rest of the games. I want to see them win 4 in a row to go with momentum into the playoffs, because if we go 2-2, 1-3, or not 1-3, it won't make it. Oh no, it won't make it. So we need to go 2-2 or 3-1. But I would like to see them go 4-0. But yeah, Rodgers right now, I think he's calling the shots with Mike Tomlin and getting the boys to just fucking play football.
These two teams will meet again week 18. It could potentially be a pseudo playoff game for the division winner. If these two teams both go 1-2 over their next 3, that is exactly what will end up being the case in week 8. So wild game on Sunday. We look forward to that one at the end of the year. But let's keep talking about what we saw in week 14. And Zay mentioned he was battling with the Shedeur haters, and I had a feeling the Shedeur haters, they had a rough Sunday because Shedeur Sanders had a great Sunday. Wasn't quite enough to get the W, but I feel like this might be the best of both worlds here for Cleveland. You get a loss to better your draft stock, and Shedeur Sanders looks pretty damn good. Shedeur Sanders in the loss, 23 of 42, 364, 3 touchdowns through the air with a pick, 29 yards on the ground, and a rushing touchdown. So 4 total touchdowns, nearly 400 all-purpose yards. Browns lose this one 31-29 on a controversial 2-point conversion at the end that could not tie it up. But the main takeaway here, I think, is that Shedeur Sanders looked pretty damn good in this one, Sam. That's the talking point coming out of this game. What did you make of the Cleveland-Tennessee game, and what did you make of Shedeur Sanders' performance?
Well, let's get it out of the way first. They played the Titans, right? So it's not like it's not like they played anybody spectacular. I just want to get that out of the way before I start.
Hey, Dylan Gabriel just played the Jets. Let me throw that in there.
Yeah. I'm on your side, buddy, because I like what I saw from Shedeur. I've been a fan of Shedeur since I found out that there was definitely some craziness going on with Shedeur Sanders. I mean, based on what we've seen from Shedeur, Dylan Gabriel, these 2 quarterbacks, who is going to sit here and say that anyone with half a brain would think that Dylan Gabriel was a better quarterback than Shedeur? Is Shedeur the next Joe Burrow? Probably not. I can't say for sure. Definitely not at this point. But what I can say is that, as I said last week, give this guy offensive line, give this guy a coach, a quarterback's coach. It doesn't have to be the head coach or OC. Somebody that's going to help him refine his mechanics, help him understand you don't need to run 15 yards back when you sense a rush, understand what's going on with the defense pre and post snap. And I think you got a chance. You got yourself a potential savior for the franchise type deal here. You don't need to spend the first rounder on another quarterback that's not going to succeed. Build around this guy. You're not going to have a perfect outing. I mean, even he's up there, in my opinion, with, Kyler Murray, maybe, in terms of potential success, and the Cardinals went all in on him. So do the same with Shedeur Sanders. Build around him. Take the L, Stefanski. I think Stefanski might be the one coach that gets fired after this season. I'm not even sure Zach Taylor gets fired after this season, but he might be the one guy that gets fired after this. But regardless, Stefanski take the L, as he already did, by saying that he's going to be the starter for the rest of the season. Build around him during the offseason, whoever the GM is over there in Cleveland. And I think you got yourself a shot here with this QB. And the defense in this game in particular, I don't know what happened with the Browns defense. Maybe Zay can search the light on that, because they really are the reason why the Browns fell in this one, not Shedeur Sanders, which is crazy to say here in week 14.
Loss for the Browns, win for the Titans, but in many ways, Browns fans are looking at this saying, I think we might have our guy. Interesting about the point you make with the defense there. They were able to keep Cam Ward in check, but it was the run game for Tennessee that really was going in this football game. Mark, what did you take away from Tennessee-Cleveland here?
The biggest takeaway for me is that last 2-point play. I just don't understand why. Now, it just refreshed my memory. Was Sanders off the field?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I got, boys. I legit have nothing else. I thought I was watching a bit of the first quarter, and then I had to go to work after that, and I seen a bit of the highlights. Sanders was playing good football. The defense, these games can happen to the Browns as well. Biggest friggin' takeaway is, why isn't he on the field? If he scored 3 touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown to make it 31-31, they have a play that they stuffed up with the running back, and then it all goes to shambles, and the game's over. That's just, to me, that's just the craziest thing to do as a coach. Put your best player out there. Your best player was Sanders, and they lost. It's crazy.
Zim, what did you make of this one? Titans, Browns, Shedeur Sanders with his best game as a starter for this team. A loss, but what was your primary takeaway from this matchup?
Mark kind of stole some of my thunder just now, because I was going to say fire Stefanski. I walked away from that saying that was idiotic. I know that Zay is going to have a great movie plot that he's going to tell us, like how some crazy shit is tied to Brook Park, and somehow that's going to be in the 3rd installment or another installment of like one of those Fast and Furious movies or some shit. Zay will come up with something crazy for us, I'm sure. But just from the outside looking in, without knowing all those details that surround the circumstance, there's no explanation. If I'm a fan of that team, I would be ready to kill that dude that played Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders.
Crazy.
Like that in itself is a fireable offense. Like, and it's not a wait to the end of the season. Like, that screams of collusion. That screams of like some wild whatever say, like, that shit is probably true. And then the icing on the cake was the 2-point conversion. Like Mark just said, dude just did all of that. And then I don't know if y'all remember the one from the week before. He was giving out game balls. And Shedeur won last week, right? Like Browns, or was that 2 weeks ago?
Vegas week.
Yeah, the Vegas week. He like acts funny about with the game ball, like a rookie. Like bro, the way that they're not supporting that dude is insane. Like a coach not letting a rookie quarterback get his confidence. Like, sports is about confidence. Y'all should go watch this. This is Jordan I Love on Netflix. Halliburton talks about how important confidence is. And the great thing about Shedeur is like he's got probably the most confident dad in the whole entire universe, right? And that's probably helping him. But you want to talk about ruining someone's confidence? Do all that shit that Stefanski and company that's all included. Like, that's crazy. And I just think if I was a fan watching that, I don't care if I think that Shedeur is better or not. I'm doing the same thing with the Bengals now. The better players have to play. And if you're unable to judge who's the better player, then you're fired. Because people on the couch, we all do mock drafts, we do all of this stuff, and we're all figuring out, watching tape, watching film, watching all this stuff. And you mean to tell me you didn't know what this dude going through minicamp, all this stuff like that he was the better option? I've been on this show. I don't think Shedeur is like that, like to the extent that maybe Zay is, right? But I've been saying you should have played this young dude. Now, is that a confidence thing? I'm not sure. But he looks very competent, like throwing the football. And you could talk about the teams that he playing, the Titans, but them motherfuckers get paid too. Jess Simmons and company and all the dudes out there, like those are real NFL players that are out there to kill you. The little dump off that he had, the dude was trying to take his head off. And you could talk about how trash the Titans are, but I was more interested in the timing on those throws. Are you getting the ball off on your what does your footwork look like on your throws? Because some of the footwork that I used to see with him and Cam Ward in the offseason when they were making the content, I was like, damn, the time is a little bit off. That throws a little late. Timing was on point. You know what I'm saying? Like some of those throws, those are throws that I don't see a lot of them kids that they be saying are really good. Like a lot of these dudes like Jackson Dart just run around, go off script, throw stuff. Bro, he was on time on a lot of them throws. And that's hard to do and feel confident to do when you got dudes getting $20 million a year running at you 100 miles per hour. Like it looks easy on TV, but I'm pretty sure it's very, very hard to do. And so you got to give him credit for just that alone. But yeah, like that to me, Stefanski and anybody that's involved with all that stuff, that's a fireable offense. And I'm not even a Shedeur enthusiast. Like that was horrible. But I'm kind of rooting for the kid until we play him. I hope we beat the dog shit out of him and break his Timex watch. But aside from that, like, yeah, because he ain't got no rollie yet. He's a rookie. But yeah, like, I think that was good. I think that if you are still a Shedeur hater, just be an honest one. That's all I ask. Because I think all that other shit that pops on my algorithm, like it does piss me off, because the one thing I love about sports is that it's colorless. And that's how I like to watch sports. And I think when you start fusing all that weird stuff in there, it starts to become politics. And I don't like politics. And I think it's a good conversation piece.
Zay,
just real quick, share my hold on, where is that real quick? Share my screen real quick. I got something for you. He said it wasn't Rolly. You right. We got Audemars Protects, 295,000. We got another one here.
His dad. He's sharing screen. Hold on. Can I share screen?
That's crazy.
That's what type of timing we on. You know what I'm saying? So
look what 1 and 2 get you, folks. Look at that. That's pretty incredible right there, man.
You know what I mean? So just relax,
his daddy gave him that. Bro got a Timex, bro. Like in terms of rookie quarterbacks, he's at Walmart, bro. All right, relax.
Nah. Don't be hating now because he did something that your quarterback did. Now put some respect on my man. You know, come on now, put some respect on my man. He 1-1, 1-2.
What got an L? Yeah, he did do it.
He
My quarterback
did get an L.
did.
But hey, he 1 of 2 to do the 350 yards, 3 touchdowns on the rush. Put some respect
Who
on
did
him.
we do that to? I forgot what team that was.
He did that to the Browns, and Baker Mayfield threw for 5 touchdowns, and y'all lost. Damn.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's second NFL game ever. Not like week 15. Like he just came out the womb like that. It just
was week 3.
It was just out there just burning touchdowns like 9. Yeah,
They on the same type of time. So
that's a different watch over here.
No, you should recognize that they on that same type of
time.
You know what I mean?
You guys are little kids busting down rollies and put diamonds and shit. Look, we're going with the originals. Like this is the real Audemars Piguet. We're not busting down none of that shit, none of that young boy stuff. Hey, we're wearing the real deal over here. This is 9. You know, 9 really got to deal with Rolex and all that. Like, come on, bro. Let's. We don't even pay for our watches over here. Like
you don't pay for you're right. You pawn your watches until you can.
We're sponsored.
You have to sell your TV so you can buy these watches. Just chill and relax, all right?
Damn.
There's different types of levels of money over here. You forgot y'all was just out there trying to mortgage futures so you could keep T. Higgins and Jamari. Let's just
see what happens. Zeba, you see what happens when you give somebody a Fire Stick and then they give them a little cable and then they start bragging about like how they watching games on the Fire Stick.
You got the Fire Sticks. You got the Roku TVs going right now.
You got the Fire Stick. You want to talk about my TVs? You out here with the black market version of what I got, trying to tell me about quarterback play. You ain't seen a quarterback in your whole entire existence, sir.
I'm watching one right now. And Baker Mayfield, chill out, relax. Mark know about that. We ain't gonna get on that.
We're gonna fuck that little kid up. We're gonna fuck that kid up. When do we play them?
Let's get on this game. It don't even matter because when it is happening, you already know what time it is. It's gonna be perfect.
I'm gonna bust a face on that fucking watch when I see him.
So anyway, it's in the Natty though, right? Do I have to make the trip down there? You got sweet seats? I know you got some love for me if I come down there now.
Man, get into your game, sir. Like come on, we just did that. That segment was wasted. Come on, go. My bad, bro.
No, so I mean, yeah, we all know what this game was about. The ending, a lot of people had obviously the problem with Shedeur getting taken out of the game. In no world do you ever take out your best player. Like that's 101 in sports, period. But my thing before that was just there's no alignment in what Kevin Stefanski does in terms of how he deciphers the game flow and how he wants to be aggressive and when he doesn't want to be aggressive. I mean, you go for a 2-point conversion when the common sense move is to just go ahead and kick the PAT. But all of these people are talking about, well, analytically, it gives them a smarter opportunity because if they do miss that first one, they can still go for 2 on the second one. But it's like no one's thinking about that in the flow of the game. If you're on the field, Shannon Sharp said it, Chad said it, every professional athlete that's basically said, I can't find one that says like, why aren't we just kicking the PAT right there? But then in terms of that whole aggressive thing, you had a 4th and 2 in their territory earlier in the game, and you decided to let it go to the delay of game, and then they jumped off sides, and you would have got the first down had you just been aggressive then. So like I've been done with Kevin Stefanski since 2021. This is just more reason, and it's weird now because like there's clearly some foul ass shit going on behind closed doors, and it's slowly starting to seep out. The real test is going to come if he makes it through next year. If he comes back next year, the fix is in, and I don't know what Kevin Stefanski could do at that point to, get fired. You give up play calling 2 years in a row. You go 3-14 both times when Jimmy Haslam says that 3-14 is not going to cut it, and you still keep your job. Can't tell me there's some foul play going on. So in terms of the positives, though, man, we've got our cornerstone pieces. Andrew Berry has completely severed himself from Kevin Stefanski, in my point. We got guys like Harold Fannin. Dude is on the trajectory to be tight end 1, in my opinion. I believe, Sam, you said what happened in terms of the defense. The defense, they went to, what worked. And there's 2 ways to attack Myles Garrett. You get out throws quick and you run right towards him. And that's what they decided to do. Tony Pollard and everything that they were doing, they knew Myles Garrett was going to have his ears pinned back. And they were like, fine, we're just going to run it right towards him because Myles is focused on sacks and not stopping the run. Mix that with the fact that Malik Collins is out. That is a huge emphasis on why the run game was what it was, because Malik Collins, the guy who was playing at an all-pro level, wasn't out there. So it sucked that for the first time the offense finally got to wake up and the defense didn't get to respond. But I can only imagine that that's going to change, knowing that the temperature's starting to rise up in Cleveland with the Shedeur Sanders stuff. So all eyes are moving forward. I've been seeing a lot of people say, if I'm Shedeur at this point, I ain't got nothing else to prove. I don't think that's going to be his MO. I think he's still going to come out here and try to throw as many passes as he can as long as coaches allow him. And at this point, they couldn't afford to win this past week, which is why I think you go back into those conspiracy theories, because there was a clip that or there was a tweet going around that we would have went from the 3rd overall pick all the way down to the 10th overall pick with that loss. And that's just not in the cards for Jimmy Haslam and the boys right now. So they wasn't going to win this game no matter what.
Did you just mention that people are saying he doesn't have anything more to prove?
Thank you, Ziba. Thank you.
In terms of this season, to be like, you know what I mean? Like, he's showing
to win the job.
To win the job. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, no. So what are you making personally, however, the fact that it took this long to be able to realize that within the organization? Because I feel like the idea that he wasn't even given a crack earlier when you watched what Dylan Gabriel put out on the field. I mean, whether you like Shedeur or not, there's no way you can watch those two play and not tell the difference. So do you wish in hindsight, I mean, do you really think it would have been that big of a difference? Could this season have been different? If you were to have a do-over here, are you happy at least you got to see Dylan Gabriel before you realized Shedeur was better? Or would you have just gone back and completely started this way in week 1?
I mean, obviously, we would want to go back and start this week 1, but I think it was the best thing to happen for Shedeur. We just thinking back to how the whole Baker Mayfield thing and how they let him kind of just run freely and do his own thing. And we all know the type of person that Shedeur is, the moxie that he carries. You see it in his press conferences, how he's responding to reporters and all of that stuff. I think he actually took this as a real life lesson, and as much as he agrees with it or not, I don't know if he does or not, but he definitely was humbled throughout this process. And I think for a guy like that, that is all you can ask for, because in terms of the money thing, like he's not coming out here doing this for money. His family is set with the bread. Sanders is going to be cool. He can have a life in the media world without this football stuff. So I think that it was exactly what he needed. And now you can galvanize the troops after they've been beaten down and see who gonna ride with this thing. And you can see it all flow throughout the team that these boys is riding for 12. And you got that little clip at the end of the game with Simmons where he's talking about, like, this your team now. Like, you the reason they selling these doing this thing. So yeah, Jeffrey Simmons said that, like, this is your team now. So you got these players coming out here.
Well, he was flexing on Jeffrey Simmons.
So he flexed on him first, and then when he threw that touchdown, he came back to him. But he said that they was just chirping all day.
I love it.
When you get that type of respect from the opposing opponents, you know you got something there. So I think that the Browns could be sitting on something nice if they decide to not go the quarterback route, because I've been seeing a lot of these dumbass mock drafts saying that they need to trade a couple first-round picks and move up to get Mendoza. That would be the typical Cleveland Browns thing for them.
That would be stupid. Can I say this, though? I think that I get it. I'm not a Browns fan. I know all your fucking quarterbacks suck. So I understand why you're probably a little overzealous at this point. But I just want to say, like, if I'm a fan of that team, I'm not comfortable with he just lost to the Titans, but he put up 340 in a game, and that's enough for anybody to crown him shit. Like,
hey, that's not my take. I'm just telling you what people are saying. Like, there's a lot of
that's what you're saying. The auras had you blinded from the beginning.
Don't put words into my mouth. That's not what I said.
Okay,
I said
so what are you saying?
A lot of people around that think that he shouldn't even come out here and do anything with all of the sabotaging stuff that they've been trying to say.
That would be so stupid.
Tell that to them. I'm giving you the message of the fans. This is the AFC North Roundtable, getting perspective from the Browns fans' perspective. And I'm telling you that there are people around here that feel like, with all of the BS that was going around and them knowing that it feels like he's been getting sabotaged, what more does he have to prove to Kevin Stefanski that he should come out here and continue to do this when he didn't want you in the first place?
What does he have to prove? Not just Stefanski. He got to prove to himself he belongs in the league.
And that's where I agree with you. He obviously, that's why I'm talking and they're not talking.
Okay, I just want to be clear. I mean, okay.
And I think you kind of said it, Zimmo. You're looking at the perspective too, right? Where you guys want this so desperately to work. Who wouldn't in Cleveland? So I get it. And you finally get a flash of something that looks like it could work. I can't blame any Cleveland Browns fan for saying, you know what? This is a loss to the Tennessee Titans, and this is the best thing I've seen in some time. I can't put any blame on that. I think anybody who does, I just think it's ridiculous. They all they want is somebody to root for. And
Like, let's not forget.
No, he's legit. I think he's a
yeah.
legit quarterback. I don't know how good, but he's definitely a legit quarterback. But I just wanted to clarify that.
How-
Yeah,
like,
I'm not saying
let-
use it. I'm just saying in general, with
Whether
these.
it's the Titans or not, he was down 14 points with 4 minutes to go and led both drives because of him. So let's put some respect on Shador talking about he ain't doing that. How many quarterbacks are doing that, let alone the 5th round rookie?
Well, I'll tell you a quarterback who came down 10 at half and 10 in the fourth quarter. That would be 17 out in Buffalo. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills get it done against the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's transition from the Tennessee Titans taking on the Browns to one of the better games of the year. Stop me if you've heard that before. Bills versus Ravens week 1. That might have been the game of the year. This game, I'll just say this, aesthetically, the pictures, the visuals with that snow, the plays made in this football game, this was a fun one to watch, a wild football game in Buffalo in week 14.
It was not fun.
Cincinnati had it, man. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, I can't believe this one wound up going down the way that it did, but it did. 39 Buffalo, 34 Cincinnati. Josh Allen, 22 of 28, 251, 3 touchdowns through the air. It was the ground game, though, that really allowed the Bills to open things up. Josh Allen's legs, 9 rushes, 78 yards, a 40-yard touchdown, and a 20-yard scramble on 3rd and 15 to end the football game. No spy from Cincinnati in this football game, which I found to be interesting. On the other side of things, Joe Burrow was just as good, 25 of 36, 284, 4 touchdowns through the air. The difference in this football game, the back-to-back interceptions thrown by Joe Burrow late in the fourth quarter. The Bengals are driving. They're up. There's 5 minutes left. Pick 6 from Christian Benford, 67 yards back. The next throw from Joe Burrow, picked by A.J. Epinesa. So despite being up 10 at half, despite being up 10 late in the fourth quarter, despite T. Higgins' performance, the Bengals somehow found a way to not pull this one out. Sam, I'll start with you. It just kind of felt like we were going to see shades of that Thursday night game against your Ravens, where this Bengals offense is cooking. The other offense isn't going to be able to keep up. It was that interception that really flipped things in the fourth quarter, and they never looked back.
Shout outs Bills Mafia. I am so happy that the Bills won, because if we had
We've
lost
been doing
that
you
game,
favors, by the way,
Yes, we have.
and the last 2 damn weeks, brother.
Oh my goodness. If we had lost to the Steelers and the Bengals would have won, we'd be having a very different conversation here on this show. So shout outs to Bills Mafia. Hopefully we can return the favor next week. Probably not, knowing the way my Ravens have played, but we'll do our best. But to this game, this is just 2 top tier quarterbacks going up against 2 not very good defenses. I'm not going to put too much on Joe Burrow for that pick 6 or that tipped interception the game after. It's just, it's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes a player just makes plays, and that's what it is. But really, it's just 2 great quarterbacks going at it. I know the Bills offense weren't really humming like you'd think they would against that Bengals defense, but I think that goes to show you that this Bengals defense is a little better than maybe some people may have predicted at this point. I just think that it's just 2 good quarterbacks. Somebody had to lose this game. The Bills were at home. It was snowing. This is just the type of deal that the Bills do. The Ravens fell victim to that last year as well. So not too much on it. Shout outs to the Bills for getting the job done. Still nervous about that Bengals team. That offense continues to put points on the board. Very, very somber if you're a Ravens fan heading into this game.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Joe Burrow, the pick 6 there. But, as bad as Buffalo's D played in this game, that was a designed blitz for Benford. And I just don't think Joe Burrow saw him. It was the right place at the right time. And he thought he was going to have an out route instantly open. He jumped it and took it back. That flipped the game. Mark, the Bills finally beat Joe Burrow and the Steelers for the first time. What did you make of this outing in the snow on Sunday?
It was crazy because for all money, you thought the Bengals were going to win this game. Then for all money, you thought, holy smokes, the AFC North division is up for grabs again, because then the Bengals have a better chance. And then those 2 picks just changed everything. And now they have to wait and see. They need to beat the Ravens. We're going to lose 3 times, and they have a chance to run the division. But Joe Burrow back there is an elite quarterback. He just makes everyone else around him top tier player. I did jokingly say that the Bills were going to win 64-61. We got something similar to that, 39-34. But yeah, it really came down to those back-to-back picks. And also, how do you not put someone on Josh Allen? Now, Josh Allen also smoked us a few years ago And I know it's crazy to say, but I would rather a receiver like Jamar Chase or someone like that to cook us, and instead of like a Josh Allen running 15 yards. So he ran for a 40-yard touchdown and a 15-yard play. But that's how football plays out. Snow was coming down. Good football game. For me here in Australia, we had a fucking heat wave. So even just seeing snow on the TV was nice. We had our stuff like 90-something degrees. But yeah, this could mean that the Bengals season, it's over now, right? Like it's over. Like the Ravens will end it, but surely, and it's funny because I have to cheer for the Bengals to beat the Ravens this week, which is going to hurt my soul. But you'd say it's over being 4-9. But yeah, Joe Burrow threw the game away, but he also had a big chance to win. I'm just happy they didn't win.
It's over if your Steelers make sure it's over, Mark. But if those Bengals beat the Ravens this week and the Steelers fall off, anything's possible. This is the craziness of the division right now. But it did take a drastic hit here. Zay, wild game in Buffalo in the snow. What did you make of this one and how it went down at the end? You're on mute, brother.
Yeah, universe.
My fault. Yeah. No, I just very uncharacteristic of Joe Burrow to be the one, for this landslide or for the erosion to start to crumble, because I mean, you just don't see him give up leads like that. Usually we're sitting here saying it's the defense doing that, and whether you want to put the blame on him for the picks or not, unfortunately he did throw the ball and it looked kind of, just like, damn, it was one of those things where it's like, wow, Joe Burrow might actually be human for once. So I didn't really take much of it. Obviously, I knew the Bills would win this game. They need to catch a little wave going up before playoffs come around. But I tell you what, Joe Burrow and this Bengals team is a defense away from probably being the scariest team in the league. And I'm glad that they don't have a defense, because I would hate to see them in the playoffs right now, especially the way he's talking at 4-9.
No doubt about it. The thing is, it's crazy. The defense did not play well for Cincinnati. And the tight ends, you don't
think the defense played well?
No, I was going to just say something. I was going to say,
okay.
I think in totality they didn't, but what's lost in this is they did have the Bills in 2 4th-down situations. The Bills converted. Right? If you flip that around, I think you look at this Bengals defensive performance a lot differently. James Cook fumbling into the end zone. That's where I personally, Zim, thought the Bills were losing this football game. In a game where it felt like you were playing ping pong back and forth offensively, you had to score. The Bills drained almost the entire third quarter's clock just to fumble that ball into the end zone. Then the Bengals go right down the field and score. Now, this is where I thought it got interesting for the Bengals D, to allow Josh Allen to just walk down the field on that 40-yarder with nobody in sight. They scored within a minute. Yeah, it was with 1 minute. And what's crazy, by the way, Zim, at the end, the Bills scored to go up 2 scores. The Bengals scored in 50 seconds. So that's what was going on at the end of this football game. But what did you make of it? You had it twice, really. I mean, it really did feel like it. So how did you make it, how it went down, and your reaction to Joe Burrow at the end there?
I want to be respectful, because one thing I hate is when we do win games. We haven't won that many games. I hate when the other person doesn't acknowledge like the other team. And this is a hard game for me to really take my fan hat off for, I guess, because he was so good at quarterback in that game in the first half of this football game. It reminded me of another game that we had one time before, where we get out on the Chiefs and then bro just converts a 4th down. They stay in it. We still win the game, but it was the game didn't even have to be close. That game was 14-3. Josh Allen converts those 4th downs back to back. And to me, I didn't think I'm still thinking the Bengals would win, but at that point in the game, I'm thinking, all right, kind of keeping these guys around. They scored 8 in the first quarter, 7 or something, or 3 in one quarter. Then they come back in the third quarter, they score another 7. So they had 18 points. And even after the Joe Burrow pick 6, which is the most impactful play in the game, even after that, I'm we still only down 4. Here I come. As soon as he threw the pass and it gets tipped up, and then the other pick, I'm like, I started looking at that clock. I'm like, I know now I'm going to come right back. But at the same time, I'm just it's just one of those things where I want to be respectful and give credit to the Bills, But I also feel like, bro, this is the most unluckiest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, and I've just seen this for 2 years now. And what was that saying that we used to have on this when we would come on here? It'd be like, this is the greatest. What was that thing we would say?
Classic.
Instant classic.
Instant classic.
Instant classic. Yeah, while y'all were saying instant classic, all those little minute details every single week, I'm just like, bro, what? Like, and then by the time we got to the end of the season last year, remember, I was like, bro, we're just gonna figure out a way to lose it. Like, we're a bad team. And everybody was like, yeah, the offense is so good. But I'm like, bro, it's just like this complimentary thing. And I think it's all a mentality. And I think, and I say this about anything in life too. I think that the Bengals lack a winning culture, right? For the last couple of years, they're used to seeing Joe Burrow being hurt. He comes back, all these different things. But in that time frame, I think they develop a losing culture. And in that, like, so all that Super Bowl, all that stuff is gone. That's over. In the losing culture, teams just figure out ways to lose games, like no matter what. It could be Joe Burrow this week. It could be the defense next week. It could be whatever. And they just figure it out. Even when they play like really, really well, I thought for most of that game, at least offensively. But I don't know. I mean, I think Christian Benford made a hell of a play. Shout out to Josh Allen doing his thing. I came into this game, and I think I went on like 4 Bills shows because I purposely wanted to do this. Josh Allen had came into that week with multiple turnovers, doing all of this stuff, and I felt as though the Bills fans, and Z-Bot could maybe point me in the right direction, I felt as though that they didn't trust Josh Allen. We're going to see this upcoming week, I think, against a legit tackling defense with the Patriots and stuff like that. Everybody kept on talking about James Cook. And I'm like, that's cool. No disrespect to James Cook. But if you're going to win this game, I win on every show. I even did a show with Z-Bot. I said on the show, he has to have 240 plus, and you could go catch this. I don't know if you remember me saying this to you on that show, Z-Bot. Yeah. I said he has to have 240 plus, and he's got to run for 60, and he's got to throw for at least 2 touchdowns, or you're losing. He did. He literally almost had that same stat line. And the reason why I said that wasn't because I don't believe in James Cook. It wasn't because I don't believe in the run game. But early in that game, I think you saw what Lamar Jackson saw the week prior. Once he gets out on you, you ain't talking about running the fucking football. And if you are running the football, that's cool, but you better put some points on the board. And that's where the elite conversation, he makes games feel like playoff games. When I feel like when we play other teams, I think he makes quarterbacks feel like it's a playoff game for him. Because if you go to run the football and you're down 14-3, that's cool. I get it, but somebody better make a crazy play. And Josh Allen, I thought, answered the bell. And I just thought that it was so crazy to me. Everybody was talking to the Bengals like it was like a regular team. Like, oh, yeah, we're just going to control the football. We're just going to run. And, we're just going to keep Joe Burrow off the field. I'm like, that sound good. The first half of the football game, I thought Joe Burrow did a job of keeping them off the field. And then the second half, they made their adjustments. And then that's where I think the magic happens. And that's why quarterbacks drive the sport. And I thought for a team, like when the schedules came out, it was always Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen. I just thought it was wild that it had moved and shifted. But I think that is a reminder when you watch games like that, and no shot at you, Zay, but there's just levels to quarterback play in the NFL. It could be a throwing in a pocket from a Joe Burrow, or it could be taking over a game at the end of the game or using your legs like Josh Allen. It could be Lamar running. It could be Pat Mahomes in the clutch. But if you don't have that guy in that atmosphere, I just don't see how you can win in this league, because the league is like the rules. Everything is just skewed towards protecting them and letting those dudes do it in those moments. And I think that's what Josh Allen, Benford, all types of. I thought Milano made a great tackle against Chase Brown in the open field that I was like, what? It like he had a run. It pisses me off. It was 5 yards off, and Mike Milano sized him up. And Chase Brown normally just runs right past him. I sized him up, made it so they made those plays, but at the end of the day, it was always Josh Allen versus Burrow. And that's just how it is. And I know people don't subscribe to, well, quarterbacks don't play each other. Yeah, the fuck they do. When they're down on the scoreboard, they do. They're looking over there on the other side. And you're going to remember, I said this to any Ravens fan, anybody. They're going to look on the other end of that field. And depending on who they play, that's the game script. And if you were playing a bum-ass quarterback, yeah, you could have just run the football the whole time. Joe Burrow puts that pressure on you to make sure that you're on your A game, and I thought he did that, and Josh Allen did his thing.
It was always Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with a lot of what you said. Interestingly enough, though, the Bills did run the football in this game more than they threw it. And they did run it a lot with James Cook, 18 carries. He should have gotten in the end zone to make that game close. He fumbles. That was the biggest blown play for Buffalo all game. But if you remember early, and remember when I had you on my show, I said the Bills won't be able to do this if they go down 14-0. It wasn't 14-0. It was 14-3. So it wound up being different. But Zim, the reason why it was 14-3, Ty Johnson tackled by the snow monster on a walk-in touchdown. The Bills have to settle for a field goal. So I think that they did want to run the football, and I thought that was evident in this game. It was Josh Allen's legs, though, that I think were more productive in this game than I think we anticipated. But the one other thing I wanted to say to you, it's not a matter with Josh right now in the turnovers, and I see what you're saying. A lot of this gets blamed on the receiving core in Buffalo, and rightfully so. It's a pretty mediocre receiving core. But it's not that there's a lack of trust in Josh Allen. It's just that people don't think about this with Buffalo because of Josh Allen. They have the number one running offense in the NFL. And James Cook's 50 yards behind Jonathan Taylor for the rushing title this season. The Bills' offense has been, even with Josh Allen, they have been a run-first offense. I believe they're the only team in the league that runs it more than they throw it. So this is why I felt that way going into it, because this is how they've been winning.
But I got to push back on this a little bit. Yeah, he ran 18 times because that's what you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. If you weren't playing against Joe, I think he probably would have ran 26 times, right? But that I guess that's my overall point. The rushing yards of Cook, how many rushing yards did he have?
80. No, they definitely held him below what I anticipated.
80,
that's
right?
For sure. Yep.
The Josh Allen runs, those were not design runs. Outside of maybe the last one, maybe they had a plan. So what he did, I just thought he scrambled around and just made plays himself. To me, I don't consider that. That's like me saying, you ever seen a team that just throw a whole bunch of screens? I feel like it's just like an extension of like the short run game or something like that. Buffalo. Like I just don't treat that like those are straight runs. I think philosophically, what y'all did to the Steelers, like line up, under center, jumbo package, we're going to run the shit out of the football. Like, you can't do that against an elite quarterback, and I think that's my little gray area. But you're right. You did get the rushing yards, just in a different method. Cool.
And listen, once again, I agree with you because of the way the game went. They go down 14-3. You can't – the Steelers script is done. The Steelers scored 7 points in that football game. You can't run a halfback dive 30 times when you're down 14-3. It's just impossible. And you also saw the flow of the game, and you could tell that the game script for Brady and McDermott in this one, Zim, they went for it on fourth down almost every opportunity that came up because of Joe Burrow. They're not doing that in another game where the offense isn't picking them apart. And that's what they were doing. I mean, they were picking apart the Bills' D. So an incredible game from both teams, and we got some incredible games coming your way this upcoming weekend. We'll get to those in just a second. Before we do, I want to give a shout out to my friends over at RotoWire. They'll get you set for Week 15 with one of my favorite premium tools, and that is their NFL odds premium tool. That give you all of the betting lines all in one place across all the major sports books. That way you can compare odds and get the best odds for each and every game, including Thursday Night Football. Falcons, Bucks. The Bucks are in a heated race right now with Carolina for their division. Must win for Tampa Bay against the Falcons on Thursday Night Football. You can get the best line for the Falcons on FanDuel. You can get the best line for the Buccaneers on BetMGM, and you can look at all of the lines for every game and use RotoWire's premium tool to set you up nicely for this upcoming week. That's just one of the many premium tools that RotoWire offers. Take advantage with the link in the description below and the promo code on your screen. Click that link, sign up for an account, and once you do, use the promo code RTS. That will get you 15% off a premium RotoWire subscription. Speaking of that, as we all just completely disappear here, I'll bring us back in, and I'll bring in my sleeper slip for Thursday night football. Like I mentioned, it's Falcons taking on the Buccaneers. I got Baker Mayfield with a free pick here, more than a half yard, and I got Bucky Urban and Bijan Robinson getting in the end zone. That's good for a 4x multiplier. If you want to tell that or create your own, do so via the link in the description below. Click that, sign up for a sleeper account, and once you do, you will immediately get a free $20 entry. You can use that on Thursday Night Football, any of the Week 15 games, NBA, NHL, you name it. It's all on Sleeper. Once you use that free $20 entry, use the promo code on your screen, RTS, and that will get you a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms of use for details. Currently available in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper via the link in the description below. All right, Week 14 done. Let's take a peek at Week 15. And fellas, I can't believe as we approach this upcoming weekend, we are approaching the middle of December. The playoffs are right around the corner, and one of these teams has got to win the division. And we still have a slim chance, but a chance nonetheless for the Cincinnati Bengals. And they're taking on a team who still has a chance in their own right, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. Another divisional clash. Baltimore playing now 3 consecutive divisional games. They've lost their last 2, including one to Cincinnati on Thanksgiving night just a little over a week ago. Baltimore looking to rebound not only off their last 2 losses, but against Cincinnati, having lost to them just a handful of days ago. Mark, I'll start with you. You just took on these Ravens. You got the dub. They took on the Bengals the week prior, couldn't get it done. Who wins this in the rematch in Week 15?
We really need the Bengals to win. And for maybe the first time in history, Joe Burrow lights them up 42-0.
Wow.
I'm kidding. we need the Bengals to win, and obviously they need the Bengals to win too for the playoff chances. This, maybe last year or whatever it may be, could be a primetime game, 1 p.m. Sugar, man. This comes down to if there's no Joe Burrow errors like that, they can win the Bills game. So I'll probably say, honestly, try and take them off my Steelers hat. Bengals win this game. High scoring, 31. It's hard to say. 31-20, something like that. Ravens still competitive, but they're fighting for their playoff chances. So are the Bengals. And we need them to have that gap so we can be up by 2.
Mark has the Bengals.
Hard to say, but I hate saying this Bengals win. Ugh.
Yeah.
You got them pulling off the sweep here, Mark. Last time out, they beat the Ravens 32-14. This time around, Zay, what do you think goes down in Week 15?
My logic tells me Ravens. My pettiness and what I called a few weeks ago is telling me Bengals, and that's what I'm going with. I told y'all a couple weeks ago. I said there's going to be one team to put these sorry birds out their misery. It's going to be the Bengals because they had 2 games in 3 weeks. And sure enough, they handled business the first time. It's going to be the nail in the coffin now. And I was only half right. I wasn't all the way wrong. I thought it was going to be the Steelers this year that crumbled. Little did I know, you rat shit birds had me on the ropes right there, Sam. You had me in the first half. I ain't going to lie. But here we are, and y'all are a game away from basically seeing Lamar's helmet come flying down 90 right into, our stadium somehow, and I'm just here for it. So I can't wait to see Lamar Jackson throw his helmet on the sideline this week. Give me the Bengals. Let's go 33-24.
Zim, you were the victor last time out, so I'll start with you. Do your Bengals get it done in the season sweep over your most hated team in the NFL?
We got some ball knowers on here. That's what I just heard. Those two gentlemen right there, these guys have been really watching some film. I just want to shout them out for really, really locking in to full ball knowledge. As far as me though, I don't trust his defense, brother. I just don't. The one thing I took away from that press conference and today with Joe Burrow talking about finding his joy and shit, his joy is winning. If you didn't watch the Bengals versus Bills game, the first half of that football game, Z-Bot did talk about somebody tripping up. There was another guy named T. Higgins on his 4th drive. We were going into halftime. T. Higgins tripped up on a route. It was a 3rd and 18. If he catches that pass, he goes 4 for 4 and puts up 28 on their ass in the first half, right? I only say that to say this. He looks like he's on point. None of them throws. He maybe had one misfire the whole game. The Ravens defensive line, the Bengals they've allowed 1 sack in the last 4 games. Like he came to the podium today and said this is the best his offensive line has ever been around him. The defense is the worst I've ever seen. Give me Bengals in this game for the sweep. I wish I had my broom right here. Give me Bengals in the sweep. I'm gonna go another 30 piece. I'm dropping 30 on everybody for the whole rest of the season. I don't give a shit who you are. Everybody getting 30. 32. I think Lamar definitely gonna fight back. Better than Thanksgiving. 32-28.
Sam, last time out, 5 turnovers for your Baltimore Ravens. At home, they're doubled up in prime time. This time it's in Cincy. It's a must win. Do your Ravens bounce back after 2 consecutive divisional losses?
Y'all didn't watch the Bengals and Bills game. It's obvious. You guys didn't watch the Bengals and Bills game. You guys watched this Bengals defense put up them points, yes, but to put up to lose in that fashion, all them points that the Bills offense put up on the Bengals, and you think the Ravens are going to lose to the Cincinnati Bengals? Hell yeah, we're going to lose to the Bengals. We're going to lose to the Bengals for sure. What have you seen? We made old man Aaron Rodgers put up points on us in M&T Bank Stadium. You think we're going to bounce into Cincinnati and beat the Bengals with a Joe Burrow that's trying to get his groove back with the defense that can't tie their shoes, let alone cover a receiver? There's no way the Ravens are going to beat the Bengals. I don't see it. Prove me wrong, Ravens fans. Prove me wrong, Ravens roster. But all I'm seeing here is a dead team walking. There's just no way about it. This Ravens offense had a chance against the Steelers to put up points. The Ravens put up 2 touchdowns against the Bengals on Thanksgiving in Baltimore. And you think they're going to put up more than 30 on that Bengals defense that looked really good against the Bills, by the way? There's no way. I don't see it. I hope I'm wrong because the Ravens need to win this game. But nothing the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks have shown me that this Ravens team is anything but pedestrian. So give me the Bengals to win it 38-21.
Man, Sam's going to be coming on next week looking like Kevin Broussard on First Things First this past week. Him and Nick Wright coming on life support. I thought they took a page out of your book, by the way, Sam. I think you were the first one to do the life support.
I was the first one.
They got to give you your credit, man. Yeah. I think they stole your thunder there. All right. Sticking in the 1 p.m. Eastern window on Sunday, Shadur back in action on the road in Chi-Town against the Chicago Bears. They're 9-4. The Browns 3-10. The Bears, they're an interesting team. They don't feel like they're 9-4, but just last week they were the 1 seed. So the NFC, just as crazy as the AFC has been. It's been a wild year in general. So kind of an interesting game here where you just don't know. You don't know what version of Chicago you're going to get. And if we can get that type of offense that Cleveland delivered last week, this should be a hell of a game. Mark, I'll kick it off with you. Cleveland, Chicago, who takes it and why? By the way, let me add, apparently the weather for this game is supposed to be -10 to -20 degrees with the wind chill. So keep that in mind.
Wow.
Hang on a minute. Minus what? Let me calculate.
With the wind chill, it could get as bad as -20.
-20 Fahrenheit. Hang on, wait for my reaction.
Disgusting.
Celsius. That's fucking cold. That's -28 Celsius.
Oh, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, got me then.
Yes.
All right. There's 2 things I'm watching. I'm watching this, sack count with Myles Garrett because this year they care about sacks. Last year they care about the pass rush win rate. Now it's all about sacks. So I'm watching that to happen. Possibly he needs 4, I think, he needs 3 in 3 and 4 games. As long as it doesn't happen in the Steelers game, I'd rather happen before or none at all. And I'm also going to watch the Sanders play as well against the Bears. But the Bears are on our team, a team now that getting ready for playoffs, that kind of style. So I don't know. Can the Browns play spoiler? Do the Browns want to win this game because of draft picks, stuff like that? Are they going to make really dumb calls like last week with the 2-point conversion? I have no idea. I think it'll be a close game. I'm going to say low scoring though. I'll say like Bears win something. Somehow the Browns stuff up again in a new way and they win 19-17 for safety.
19-17. That could be a scoregami there. We'll have to go and check. Sam, Cleveland, Chicago on Sunday in a bitter cold one. Who takes it?
I really want to take the Browns here, but it is going to be cold. It is in Chicago. The Browns know about the cold as well, but man, that's really cold. I'm gonna go with the Bears. I think the Bears are fighting for more. I think the Browns are kind of out of it. The Browns might want to prove something, considering that defense didn't show too much last week, more so than I expected. So, give me the Bears to win it. Maybe another 21-19 score in favor of the Bears.
All right, we got a couple of Bears picks. Zim, you making it a hat trick here on Chicago?
The Bears. I'm going Bears. And the only reason why is because I ain't appreciate Zay trying to talk about my watch earlier. And, you know.
You talked about it first.
But it's always 9. Don't you ever forget that. And I feel like the one thing that stood out to me was Shador, like in his performances, I noticed that his rollie was ticking, so it's fake. And so here come the Bears. And they're just going to put, you know what, though? I need you to win, though. I don't need you to go and get, you know, all these pass rushers and the kid from Ohio State and Bain. And, yeah, I don't need that. But I'm gonna tell you one thing that Caleb Williams is going to do. It's going to piss you off. You hit me after the game and watch this. It's going to be 8 times that you're going to have him dead to rights, and he does this little backwards spin shit. Has anybody else played him and seen it? He does this little bit. They have a whole compilation of this shit. He does it every week. It's insane. It's going to piss you off. He waits for a guy to act like he's going to hit him, then he spins off of it every single time. And I'm gonna give you the Bear. I'm gonna go Bears comfortably by 12 points. Shador looks decent again. Probably 190, a touchdown and a pick. You know, basic shit. You know, like fake rollie shit. You know, I don't know. There you go.
Is it going to be a fake rollie or a real rollie on Sunday? Zay and Shador's 4th career start, this time against Chicago.
Well, a couple fun facts. You mentioned the weather. That's never stopped Kevin Stefanski in this offense from throwing the ball 31 times. Last time it was this cold, Deshaun Watson was fresh off of an 11-game suspension, and it was negative 30-degree wind chill in Cleveland. He threw the ball 31 times for a whopping 135 yards. So expect to air this thing out like a Mac 10 on GTA, all right? So we going to throw the ball. But another fun fact for you, I'm looking here. The Browns have not won in Chicago. You want to take a guess the last time they won in Chicago?
1967.
1969 is the
You're
last
kidding me.
Wow. Whoa, Z-Bot is a ball knower.
We got some ball knowers in the building, folks.
Oh, my gosh.
So as much as I, would love to, the Browns are tanking, and no team tanks better than the Cleveland Browns. And if you think they're going to give up this positioning, when like Zim said, being a little nervous because our GM may have had a few mishaps before, but the man on a heater right now, and you don't want to play with somebody who on a heater right now. So I'm going to take the Bears. I still think Shador, I think we get like 200 something yards. I think we won't get the same performance that we got, but we'll see more improvements like he's been doing every single week. So I'll take the Bears. We'll go let's go 21-17 because 17 seems to be the number that we cannot get past.
Speaking of being on a heater, as much as this pains me to say, the Miami Dolphins are on a bit of a heater. Right now, they got the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs heading into Week 15. The Miami Dolphins 6-7. The Pittsburgh Steelers 7-6. This one is your Monday night football game. It's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh currently atop of the division. They got to keep winning in order to maintain that top spot. Sam, you just fell to these Steelers. The Dolphins, they've been kind of cooking as of late. They haven't lost since firing their GM. So what do you make of this one? Steelers, Dolphins on Monday Night Football.
If the Ravens somehow manage to steal the victory in Cincinnati, I'm going to be paying very close attention to this game because I really want the Dolphins to win. There are things that the Dolphins do running the football, for one, that the Steelers are still having struggles with in terms of defending against. Devin Achan's health is a concern. He did have a rib injury. He did say that he could have played the remainder of the game if he had the opportunity. So if he does play, I think that the Dolphins win. Regardless, I'm going to pick the Dolphins to upset the Steelers. I still think that Steelers offense is pedestrian. Of course, the Ravens make everybody look great. So I'm not 100% sure that Aaron Rodgers still has the fountain of youth for a second straight week. Give me the Dolphins to win it. Let's go 24-16.
Sam's got the Dolphins. Zim, can the Steelers squish the fish on Monday night, or does Miami get it done?
Squish the fish is crazy. Yeah, man. I think what I saw from Buffalo lining up against the Steelers is like imprinted in my head. And the best run scheme in the National Football League to me is the Miami Dolphins. If it ain't A-Chain, it'll be one of them other dudes. They got like 3 of them guys. I got Dolphins in this game heavy. Like, yeah, I got Dolphins in this game by like 14.
Damn.
Yeah, I got like 27-13.
Zay, you keeping the Dolphins train rolling here with the boys up top?
I actually am, and the only reason why I am is because shout out to my boy Max Lowe. He broke down the scenario for the Miami Dolphins to still make it into the playoffs, and there's a very real road for him. Obviously, it starts to get shaky when we got to play the Bills and the Browns game. They need us to beat you guys. So there's the major roadblock for you guys, and a lot of other things that need to happen. But obviously, we're in a league of parity right now. We're in a league of storylines, and it's getting down to the nitty-gritty and teams fighting. This is going to make the story that much interesting when the Steelers lose, the Ravens lose, and then the Dolphins win in this whole playoff chart. So I am going to go ahead and take the Dolphins. But I will be watching Aaron Rodgers. You get a on-fire Aaron Rodgers, a guy who starts to get his rhythm, going out on his last hoorah, what you may think. The NFL tends to respect legends like that, and they will give them some sort of storyline to run with. So be very wary of Aaron Rodgers catching a spark late here. But give me the Dolphins.
Mark, you're the top dog, and not a single soul in here respects you. You're the last line of defense for your Steelers. Do they get it done on Monday night?
What's new, really? All right. So the fucking standard is the standard.
Is that a Tomlin shirt?
It bloody oath
So
is,
is.
mate. It's Tomlin's shirt.
Fire.
Bought this in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin is 20-0 on Monday Night Football in his hometown of Pittsburgh.
Wrap it up.
Wow.
20-0.
It's over.
So this is the time for all the fired Tom. I'm not even going to talk to the AFC North. You guys can choose whatever you want to choose. I'm talking to the fired Tomlin crowd. I'll shut the fuck up. Respect Mike Tomlin. He's got his team ready. The Dolphins coming in. It's going to be freezing. They're gonna turn into frozen fish. They're going to be frozen solid. Mike Tomlin's going to get his team wound up. So it was like he's won, I think, 1 win and 7 I saw below 49 degrees Fahrenheit for you guys.
And I believe it was against us.
Yeah, something like that. So Mike Tomlin should have this team ready. We're painting the end zone's gold. It's Monday Night Football. I'm just hoping that our team can match that energy. And the biggest thing is, though, to be honest, like if they run over us, like we've allowed 200-yard rushing 2 weeks in a row plus. So we cannot stop a nosebleed on that rush game at all. So will Rodgers turn up again and fire Metcalf and get the ball to, Frymouth? And I don't know about the health of Darnell Washington. Can our offense score points? Like maybe they win this game 20, let's say 20. We got 29. Chris Boswell's in there somewhere. 29-13, and our defense steps up. But if they run over, it's going to be very tough. But I think it's a Mike Tomlin game. He's won 20 at home. He's 20 and I think in 3 on Monday Night Football. And those are the ones that he lost away. So 20-0, make it 21st. Mike
Tomlin, he's always got these crazy stats, man. A couple of super chats before we close up shop. We got Amiri coming in, dropping in a little love. We appreciate you. It's Amira showing a little love. Appreciate you, Amira. And she also, or he, she, or sorry, Amira, I'm bad with the usernames here. I never know what's what. But Amira, new member of the show, new member of the channel. We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
We got a ball knower.
A member of the AFC North Roundtable. Thank you very much. MB coming in. Bengals are failing Burrow. I'm ready to see him on the Rams. Meanwhile, Matt Stafford's the betting favorite to win MVP. We wasted his career. Zim, a little bit more on this and touch on the comments from earlier a little bit more if you could, because those are making the rounds wildly on social media right now. Joe Burrow talking about a variety of things at a press conference earlier in the day. He says, quote, If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I have been through a lot. If it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? He'd also add, there's a lot of things going on right now. So what do you make of this whole Bengal and Joe Burrow dichotomy here?
First of all, guys saying that about the Rams, the team that's responsible for Joe Burrow not having a ring, you could pack your laptop up, sir, and get the hell out of here. Like, I won't have any of that. All right. So that's first and foremost. Number two is I think bro was in his feels. It was a reflective day for him. It was his birthday. He doesn't like losing. He's a sore loser, I think, he just doesn't say it out loud. But I just think he was in his feels, like, on his birthday, reflecting on, like, life and just like, bro, how did I come back to this? I'm barely even in the playoffs. After y'all seen the Netflix special, he's on the couch watching teams that he feels like he's better than, make it, and everybody's watching him light it up, and then he's still losing. To put this in perspective, I put this stat out, and I'm going to put it out. The Bengals have allowed 5 36-point games from their defense in the last 11 games. To put that in comparison, the Bills have allowed 36 points on them in the last 71 games. The Bengals have eclipsed that in one season, and he's sitting there probably thinking, like, how is this even possible? And I'm playing this well, or, maybe he's salty or maybe he's pissed that he threw those picks too. I don't know. But I think Burrow's one of them guys, though. He's got to win, bro. So when you're not winning, everything looks shitty.
Well, they'll look to get a win over those Baltimore Ravens this upcoming week. Speaking of those Ravens, bad boy Twan dropping in a tangerine. We appreciate you, bad boy, stopping in to say back-to-back division losses hurts. But I'm still hopeful the Ravens can and will turn it around. But they got to prove it to me. Sam and the rest of the fan base, though.
Yes, sir.
Go Flock. Wow, really appreciate that, bad boy. Perfect opportunity to turn things around this upcoming week against Zim's Bengals. We can't wait for that one on Sunday. And Luis is closing us out saying, Tomlin has his flaws, but every NFL head coach has flaws, some more than others. But the one thing that Tomlin has is he has the respect of the players. And the other thing that he has, apparently, according to Mark, is an undefeated record on Monday Night Football. He'll look to keep that record blemish-free against the Miami Dolphins on Monday night. Speaking of all those games, we can't wait to recap them all with you next week, right here where you're at, same time, same place, 6 p.m. Eastern, next Wednesday on the AFC North Roundtable. But for this episode, that is going to do it. For Sam, Zim, Zay, and Mark, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning in to the AFC North Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next.
Roundtable Sports Network is your one-stop shop for all things NFL, with daily live shows covering all 8 divisions in the league, hosted by the best content creators on the web, all on one network. Catch the AFC East live every Monday at 7 p.m. and on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. The AFC North Roundtable live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. The AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. The NFC East Roundtable live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. The NFC West Roundtable live at 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. The NFC North Roundtable is at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and the NFC South Roundtable is live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. EST. And of course, fourth and forever, the flagship show of Roundtable Sports Network, covering all things NFL at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Roundtable Sports YouTube channel. Real coverage, real fans.